What did you expect from the FA? Because I remember the game against Fleetwood, they were cleared of, any sort of racial language. So what did you expect from the FA? Or is this what you actually expected from the FA?
And the crazy thing is, um, I came out and said it. I'm not actually surprised, but I was. If you know what I mean, when you're like, you know what, I didn't even expect anything different. But then when it came out, you're like, raw. Even though I didn't expect anything different, this is what they came with, and that was the bad thing. I was like, how can you say that? You know what? They said it, but they can't deem it as racist, or they're unsure and they can't prove it as racist. That was the thing.
But isn't it up to you to say that, look, I'm racially offended, so it
Do
doesn't matter what they think.
And that was the crazy thing. And when I spoke to them and when I issued the statement, I never heard the comment. It was told to me 24 hours later by white members of my team who deemed it as racist. So, and we're talking about the FA, and we're talking about gambling. There was a stage at the earlier of my career when you was allowed to gamble as footballers. But you wasn't. The only thing is, you wasn't allowed to gamble in the league that you played for.
Okay, yeah.
Then it was like too much grey areas. Too much grey areas. Footballers can't bet on any football. It stamped it out. So there was no comeback. So if you bet, the FA was like, no grey areas. If you bet on anything football, you're going to get in trouble. They had the opportunity right now to stamp out anything racial or racial terminology. They had the chance right then to stamp it out and say, listen, no grey areas. Like whenever we want to stamp out something, we'll stamp it out. They didn't. They said, yes, we know it was said, but we can't prove it was. We can't prove it wasn't, so we're going to err on it wasn't. And for me, right there and then, let me know what these people were about. And that's when I say, they let me down. So going forward now, another person can say it to another person with no fear of repercussions. That's my thing. I'm like, listen, if we're trying to not only change the game, try and change society, they could have done something there, and they chose not to. So to answer your question, I was surprised. I wasn't surprised, and I was surprised. You know what I'm saying?
What? Shocked and not surprised?
Yeah, that's what it was. Shocked and not surprised. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's how you lot are moving. That's how you lot are moving. For all you lot want to talk and say, you want a more together game and an inclusive community, you really don't, because you had the opportunity to stamp it out or to make a stand, and you chose not to.
So the comment we're referring to is a fat water buffalo, which obviously the FA, said it could be racist or couldn't be racist. And again, to me, it comes down to the simple fact of, how does your boardroom look like? And I can assure you that the people making these decisions are white. So when there's no empathy, there's no feeling, and there's no decision that's going to be made. So